welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my all-time favorite horror books. Let's get started. About 2 years ago, and then about a year ago, I posted videos entitled My Favorite Horror. They're the best viewed videos on my channel. The older one has over 20,000 views at this point. Like, they have a lot of views. But they are quite outdated in terms of the face. I wasn't wearing wigs, I didn't know about hair extensions, and I wasn't as well spoken. I'm still not very well spoken, but I'm substantially better than what I was. What I'm gonna do is refilm these videos, basically, re-put them out into the world. That way we have like a modern take on my feelings about these books, because I love these books. And honestly, it's nice to be reminded of what's good. For some of these books, I haven't mentioned them in like a year, and that's literally a crime. I'm so excited to talk about books. We have a good mixture of things here. We have slashers, we got cannibals, we got fucking abused children. Like, we have everything. We have everything. I hope you're ready to go on this adventure. This is just gonna be part one. I'm gonna film a second part, maybe a third part to these videos, because I want them to be like a little series. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Jordaline. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for commenting. Thank you so much for hitting that bell. I don't know what it does, but thank you. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start talking about horror books that you literally need to read. You literally need to read these. Let me know down below what you think of these glasses. I can't decide if I'm like really into this look or if I'm really not. I don't know. I keep like looking at myself being like, I like it? I think I like it. Anyway, let's get started. First things first. I'm the realist. Second things first. Let's talk right off the bat about a book about an exorcism called Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I'm gonna say this first because I am afraid that I'm gonna forget to mention it because I don't actually own it physically. Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay is about family, okay? This family have 2 daughters. One of them is, I think, like 16, 17. The other one, I think she's like 12 to 14, something like that. The older sister begins to act erratically, and the family is like, what the fuck is going on? Why is she being crazy? Like, why is she creating hell for our lives? Like, how selfish, how wrong. This is so unlike her. Why is she like this? And then one of them is like, I know what to do. I know exactly what to fucking do. Let's call some TV producers. Let's call, hello? Hello? Yeah, hi. My daughter is possessed by a demon. Can you like come and like exorcise her and then put it on television, please? Thank you. Literally what they do. Their daughter is fucked up and they immediately go to, she's possessed by a demon. Okay, we have the problem. What's the solution? The solution is to hello? Hi. Like, call some producers, get people in your house with cameras and shit, and get them to film the experience. This book is wild. This book is crazy. Basically, we're following the younger sister's memory of what happened during all of this. This book is crazy. I'm not gonna say it's like scary, because it's not scary. If anything, it's more just like fascinating. Like, you go into it and immediately you're sucked into this world because this family is so captivating. You know when you like start reading a book and you immediately just like click into place with it? That's how I felt about this book. I picked it up and I clicked immediately with it, with the characters, with the setting, with the plot. Everything about it to me was perfect, and like everything just sort of clicked right until the end of the book. To me personally, this is Paul Tremblay's best book. I read Cabin at the End of the World. I loved it until the ending, and then the ending was just like, ha ha ha, you wanted stuff, you wanted things to be nice, you wanted cool stuff. No, we're not gonna give you that. And I was like, cool, thank you so much. So I hated it. I started reading Disappearance, which I think is actually behind me right there. I started reading that like 2 years ago, never finished it. Then his newest book, the Survivor Song one, I never bought because I didn't want to pay for it. I've read some of his books, tried to read some of his other books, and in my opinion, Head Full of Ghosts is where it's fucking at, dude. Head Full of Ghosts just gets it so right. It does the haunted possession exorcism story so well, in that it's all of those things and yet none of them at the same time. It does so well because it adds commentary to how people vilify and like demonize mental illness and people who are mentally ill. And it's a smart bitch book. It's a fun book, and it's a little bit spooky. A little bit spooky ooky, ooky ooky dooky, spooky. Has a little bit of everything. And like I said, if you have not read Head Full of Ghosts, first of all, read it. Second of all, by the way, excuse the fact that I have no nails on one hand. Anyway, read Head Full of Ghosts. The audiobook is gorgeous. The audiobook is so well done and so good. I literally binged it when I first read the book. It's just done so well. The production value, the narrators, it's amazing. It's really, really well done. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Next, I want to talk about a book that I haven't talked about in like a year. Like, it feels like I haven't talked about this book enough. In my head, I should be discussing this book once every fucking video. I'm talking about the seminal classic, Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. This book is fuck you up kind of good. Do you know what I mean? This book will hold you and never let go. I remember I bought this book because I had seen it a few places, but I didn't really know what it was about. You know those kind of books where everyone like kind of has it and you're like, I guess I should also have it, but you don't really look into it. It was that kind of book. I bought it, I didn't know what the fuck it was, but I just put it on my shelf and I just like, cool, whatever. And then months passed. I just picked it up randomly. It was between this or Kill Creek, and thank God I chose this, bitch, because Kill Creek can suck my dick. Anyway, I picked it up and I was transported to this awful, terrifying, gritty, hot, sweaty, and bloody place. I love it so much. If people married other people because of the books they wrote, I would marry Keelan Patrick Burke. If he wanted me, of course. If he wanted me. I mean, I don't blame him if he doesn't, you know what I mean? Okay, you're probably thinking, bitch, get on with it. Kin, if you don't already know, is about this girl named Claire. Claire is with her friends. They're like on this road trip type of thing, and I'm pretty sure their car breaks down or something. Claire and her friends are in the middle of nowhere, right? And they're kind of all just sort of gathered together, maybe like walking down a road, and out of fucking nowhere, before you can say fucking gotcha, bitch, these people come out of fucking nowhere and instantly her friends are dead. There's one scene where she's having like a flashback of the moment that all of this happened. Her friend was killed by a knife being shoved up her, like up her jaw and then through her brain. And it's one of the most graphic, disgusting, but enthralling scenes in a book I've ever read. I am telling you, it's so good. Anyway, but that's not where it ends. Claire escapes, okay? Claire spends like nights upon nights in this place, like afraid for her fucking life because her friends have been murdered. They're being eaten also by these fucking people. Claire is being like sexually assaulted, and they're like, you know, they're gonna kill her too. And they're gonna eat her too, right? But Claire gets away. Claire escapes. And from that point on, there is just a story of people who are impacted by Claire escaping, Claire being the final girl. It's It's literally the kind of book that leaves you speechless. It's left me speechless, because how do you describe something so perfect and something that encapsulates the genre so well? Kin is a slasher cannibal horror novel, but it's so much more than that. The characters, first of all, the characters, even the fucking dumb shit cannibals are compelling. I remember reading this book, like trying to read it as slowly as possible because I did not want it to end ever. The detail that Keelan puts into each scene, to each character, and the detail he puts into the slasher type moments. But Mr. Burke? Mr. Burke, are you there? Hello? You did it. You really, really did it. You really, really did it. Thank you. There's one scene in particular, and I think people refer to it as the rebirth scene. Honestly, I have never been the same since. If you want compelling characters, you want a fast-moving, intriguing plot, you want some fucked up cannibal shit, why are you looking anywhere else? Why are you looking literally anywhere else? This is it. This is literally it. This is all you need. Trust me, trust me, trust me. If I had to rank my favorite horror novels, which I don't know if I could ever do that, but maybe I will. We'll see. If I ever had to rank them, this would be in the top 10 for sure. Maybe even the top 5. Definitely top 10 though, because it's so fucking good. It's so good. Trust me. Trust me. If you haven't read this and you love slashers and cannibals and some ooky spooky shit, what are you even doing? Let's talk about some Southern Gothic horror. You had to know that this was fucking coming, bitch. You had to know it was coming. I love Michael McDowell. May he rest in peace. So Michael McDowell, in case you don't know, was a horror writer and author. He actually wrote the original screenplay for Beetlejuice, and we love that. We love Beetlejuice so much. But even more than that, he wrote horror novels. They are, what's the right word for it? They are perfect in every single way. Michael's most popular book is probably The Elementals. This is a Southern Gothic horror novel set in the sand dunes in, I think, Alabama, sorry. The Elementals is following two families, the McCraes and the Savages, okay? And after the death of the matriarch, Marion Savage, and after her funeral, both families decide, you know what, let's go for a vacation. Let's go out and let's relax. Let's have some time to ourselves. Marion would want this. The families go out to the coast where they own these two Victorian mansions that are kind of like in these sand dunes, like kind of like in the middle of nowhere, right? Two of the Victorian houses are just like perfect. They're perfect. You can like live in them, you can sleep in them. The third house is weirdly sinking into the sand and not okay to be in. Like, it's not safe. Other thing as well though about this third house is that there's something inside of it. Something weird is going on in those fucking walls, because anytime you look in, anytime you go in, anytime you even like look at the house, there's this weird, negative, gross energy coming from it. As children, some of the McCraes and Savages were traumatized by this fucking house. They went into that house as children, and as adults now, they can't get over what happened to them. The house might be responsible for more than they know. The house might be responsible for more deaths than they originally thought. I think what makes the Elementals, for me, special is less to do with the haunted house factor, less to do with like the creepy you know, sand dunes or whatever, and more to do with how it made me feel. The McCraes and the Savages are so like larger than life. These characters just leap off the page. And I'm gonna say that about all of Michael McDowell's books. His characters are just beautiful. You know how I was talking about clicking? This book clicks, like clicks, clicks, clicks. It's creepy, it's atmospheric, the characters are perfect, and the plot moves really, really well. And not only that, but how everything is explained about the house in the end, how everything is explained with what happened. It's just so well done, so perfect. Now, personally, The Elementals is not my favorite of his books, and I understand why so many people think of this book as his best work. Like, I get it. It's so well done, so creepy, so atmospheric. But for me, as you might know, I like a little bit of gore, I like a little bit of guts, I like a little bit of blood. So it's not my favorite because it doesn't have that much gore and body horror in it, which is, you know, what I need personally. I love this book. If you haven't read it, you need to. Like yesterday, today, tomorrow. This edition in particular is from Valancourt Books, and they do such beautiful work in republishing these like horror classics. It's so well done. Additionally, the audiobook is so good. The audiobook, ooh, bitch. Okay, you might know that I do love R.C. Bray. He narrates the audiobook, and holy fuck, if it does not just get me every single time. Hook, line, and sinker, bitch. I love the audiobook for this particular book. The audiobook narrator, R.C. Bray, we love him. He does such a good job, and his voice is like badass. Let me talk about another one of Michael McDowell's books, and one of my all-time favorite. This book is also a ghost story, but we have a little bit of gore. We have a little bit of body horror, which is what we love. We want it. This is Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael McDowell. Look at that cover, first of all. Just gorgeous. This is also published by Valancourt Books. They did such good jobs. The only thing that I don't like about these particular books, like, and how they're made, I mean, is that they are different sizes. Like, the Elementals is like both wider and longer, which annoys me. Cold Moon Over Babylon is again another Southern Gothic type horror novel. This time though, we are following a young girl named Margaret. Margaret is your average, everyday kind of 14-year-old girl. She is endlessly curious. She loves her family, and she just wants to have fun and, like, you know, be a kid, I guess. Margaret one day is riding her bike and she's heading home. Somebody in her town murders her. They basically like run her off the road and leave her body in the town like lake. Now her family, her grandmother, her brother are bereft and are just shocked that this could happen to sweet, innocent fucking Margaret. Like, what the fuck did Margaret ever do? So they're upset. But Margaret, from beyond the grave, is like, no, we're not having it. We're not having it. Margaret gets on her ghost phone and says, hello? Yeah, I'm gonna need to go back as a ghost and destroy everyone's life, because this shit's fucked up. And so Margaret comes back as a ghost. The description of Margaret, it's so gross and so good. It makes it like, it both like repulses me, and yet at the same time I eat it up with a fucking fork and a fucking spoon, bitch. It's a combination of a haunting, revenge, and a body gore slasher novel. What's not to love about the decimated, decomposing ghost of a young girl rising from the murky lake to come fucking get you and yours. I love it. I love it so much. If I'm remembering correctly, this was my first foyer. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. This was my first take for a Michael McDowell book, and I instantly fell in love. Like I said, when it clicks, it clicks. I need to do like a giant Michael McDowell reread. I do. For the Patreon book club, we should read a Michael McDowell book. I would love that. I would love that so much because I need to reread them. Or I could even do like a whole video of me like rereading them. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think of that down in the comments down below. I would love to know. If you have not checked out Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael McDowell, rectify it, okay? You need it. Trust me. Trust. Also, I listened to the audiobook for this and gorgeous. I love you, Michael. Ugh. Sometimes I just think about the fact that Michael McDowell died and I get sad. I probably would have like done anything to meet that fucking guy. We still have 2 more Michael McDowell books to go, but trust me, they're worth it, okay? Don't you dare go anywhere. Don't you dare be mad if you do. Just joking. You can do whatever the fuck you want. This is The Amulet by Michael McDowell. The Amulet is my favorite Michael McDowell book. Let me tell you why. The Amulet is a blood fest. The Amulet is so gory that Jack Ketchum is like, holy shit, bitch, take a fucking moment, relax. All I'm saying is this shit is a body horror queen's dream, like a wet dream. Maybe not. Anyway, the story is that this girl is married to this dude. They live with his mother. Her husband is a fucking idiot, okay? Like, she knows it. Everyone else fucking knows it too. Like, everyone knows that this guy is a fucking dipshit. Except for his mother. His mother is like, he's perfect, blah. But she's like, okay, well, you're also fucked up though. So she's married to this dipshit. She knows she's married to this dipshit. And this dipshit gets fucking injured at work. Our main character, Sarah, has to sort of pick everything up from, you know, what he left. So she goes to work all the time. She's working full fucking time, hours, if not more, while her corpse-like husband is, you know, at home with his mother-in-law, who is just so angry at the fact that everyone in their town caused this. She blames the mother-in-law, Jo. She blames the rest of the town for her son's injuries. She thinks that's everyone else's fucking fault except for this fucking guy. And so Sarah comes home trying to fucking find some peace in her fucking life, and her mother-in-law is just going on and on and on about how crazy and stupid and incompetent everyone else besides her son is. And Sarah's like, listen, I fucking married the guy, but I fucking know for sure that this guy's an idiot. But her mother-in-law is like, no, we're gonna get revenge. We're gonna get revenge. So her mother-in-law has this piece of jewelry that's called the Amulet. This jewelry that she unleashes on the town. What happens is if someone wears this amulet, they put it over their head, they put it on. If somebody wears it, they become instantly homicidal. They start just butchering people. And not only that, but usually they'll turn it on themselves as well and kill themselves. And this amulet is going throughout the town and just like wreaking havoc everywhere. And Sarah is like, knows that her mother-in-law put it out there, and she knows that she has to go get it back to stop the cycle, because it's literally just going from one hand to another hand. What can I say about this besides that it's basically perfect? Michael McDowell just does something with the way that he writes, just gets you. And the amount of gore and blood and body horror from like the beginning to the fucking end, literally to the fucking end, is so satisfying and so good and so much fun. Each little character in this book adds something to it. And it never becomes dull. It never becomes repetitive. Sarah's character never wavers. Just so well done in every way. Kin kind of reminds me of this book a little bit, just because it has that like crazy mother vibe, and then mixed with just like the massive amounts of blood and gore. I love you. Seriously, this is my favorite Michael McDowell book. I don't hear many people talking about it, and I really wish they did, because it's just so perfect in every single fucking way. Like I've said for the other ones as well, the audiobook is perfect. The audiobook is so well done. I can't recommend these books enough, dude. You need to get your hands on The Amulet by Michael McDowell. Let's come back to Michael McDowell later. Let's talk about one of my favorite people in the world, Sergio P.B. Gomez. Sergio is a fun-loving guy, and he wrote this little book called Camp Slaughter. There's lipstick on my copy because I kissed it once. I can't get it off now. Camp Slaughter is a masterpiece. There's a reason so many people own this and read it time after time after time after time after time, because it's good, because it fucking works. Sergio Gomez is just like, I'm honestly, and to be honest, I'm surprised that he's so young and he writes so well. You expect with this kind of book that it's fun and like entertaining, maybe not like the best writing, but Sergio, his writing is just like up here. It's so good. He writes so well, which just lends itself to the gory aspects of this book. Now, as you can see, Camp Slaughter is a slaughter novel, and it's kind of in the same vein as like Friday the 13th or like 80s campy camp movies. So in Camp Slaughter, we're following a group of college students who are like, you know what? It's like spring break or whatever. Let's go out to the woods and let's go out to this like place where it's like cool and like secluded or whatever. Ugh. They're like, you know, young adults, they're teenagers, and they're not exactly like the smartest people in the world. What they don't know is that in this wilderness they're about to go to, in this place, there is a man who lives out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. He is a cannibal, like a vicious murderer. What's gonna happen when they get out there and meet this fucking guy? You know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a little gory, a little fucked up, and fun. That's the synopsis. The prologue of this book is maybe the best introduction to a horror novel I've ever read. Prologue, the introduction to the novel, gets you. Like immediately I was hooked. I knew what the fuck was going on, and I was scared. I'm not even joking. I was literally scared. Because what it does is it just gives you like a little teeny tiny taste, and then it backs away. And then after that it kind of crawls up on you. No? This is, in my opinion, the quintessential horror novel. The quintessential slasher gory novel. It's uncomplicated, it's well written, and the antagonist, the cannibal guy, is one of the most fascinating characters I've ever read about. His whole backstory's fucked up. His current story's fucked up. I really, really, really fuck with this book, and it's one of my favorite slasher, gory, gore fest, blood fest kind of books. And if I'm saying, and I'm telling you, if you like that shit, you haven't read this, girl, do it. Do it. The only thing is that Sergio doesn't have audiobooks for his books for some reason. What the fuck, Sergio? Plus, Sergio is an independent author, and it's always great to support independent authors. So yeah, I recommend buying his books. I know for sure that you can get them from his website, and he'll sign them and everything for you. Or you can just go on Amazon, like whatever. But if I had known how much I was gonna love this, I would have ordered a signed copy, to be honest. Anyway, I love it. I'm so excited for the next book, which is coming out later this year. We can't wait. We can't fucking wait. So I've been filming for almost an hour now. And I have probably another like 4 or 5 books. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about one more book, and then I'm gonna cut the video, and then we'll do a part 2 some other day, then probably another part 3, because this is turning out to be a lot longer than I thought it would be. The last book that I'm gonna discuss is one that I haven't mentioned for about a year to a year and a half. I haven't talked about this book on my channel, mostly because like it's a lot. It's a lot. We've been talking about slashers, we've been talking about like gory books and blood fests and stuff like that. And this book takes it to a whole new level. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like, you have to know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. First of all, we love Jack Ketchum. We're stans. We love Jack Ketchum so much. His books are a little bit boring in the beginning for me. Usually at like the 25% mark is when his books pick up for me, and I love them. This book is no different. I love this book, but I don't know if I understand why it was written. That's the only critique I have of it. This is based on a true story about a girl, a young girl, who was tortured and murdered by her aunt and a group of children in her neighborhood. In the fictionalized version, we're following a young boy who knows this girl, who becomes friends with this girl, slowly watches this girl becoming like a shell of who she used to be because of her aunt and her living conditions. And then once the girl is basically forced to live in a dank, dark basement, he then must decide if he's willing to participate in what's happening to her, or if he's going to be a bystander, or if he's going to do the right thing by telling someone about it. Like, I don't know. This book makes me like really sad, to be honest. Probably wasn't a good idea to talk about it like for the last book, because it's kind of a bummer. Again, my only critique is I question why Ketchum wrote this story. Why he was like, oh, that happened, let me put it on paper, you know? Like, I don't know. Either way, I really enjoyed Ketchum's commentary on like groupthink and how people are influenced to do awful things with just like the slightest suggestion. The whole book feels like a fever dream, like a nightmare. Like, you begin it just normal, everything's fine, and then slowly, the evil just creeps in and takes everyone over until like you're at the end of the novel and like, what the fuck? This isn't gory. It's just demoralizing, dehumanizing, and baffling that anything like this could happen to anyone. It's probably within like the top 3 of my most fucked up books I've ever read, because it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. And yet it happened, which is even more fucked up. You should read it if you want to see some fucked up shit, if you want to read about some fucked up shit. But there are trigger warnings. There are trigger warnings for all of these books, but especially this book. It's like super trigger warnings. There's sexual assault, there's rape, there's torture, there's like people being forced to eat dog shit. Like, it's disgusting what happens in this book. So don't take that lightly. Do not take it lightly. Don't take it lightly, okay? Jack Ketchum writes some fucked up shit, but that especially is like really fucked up. That's part 1 of my favorite horror ever of all time. Wow. Gorgeous singing voice. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what your favorite horror novels are, so I can literally steal all of your recommendations and then buy them and then eat them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, leave me your comments down below. Let me know what your favorite books are, what your favorite horror books are, especially if they're like gory and slashery. I have been missing just like a good slasher fest. So please leave me your recommendations down below. I would love to know what you're reading, what you like, and stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because we talk about spooky shit, we talk about creepy shit, we talk about the Amulet and cold moons over Babylons and shit. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!